Chapter number 7, Energy Flow in an Ecosystem. Classify the following organisms into trophic level shown in the diagram. Humans are mixed consumers. Tiger is apex consumer. अपेक्स कंझ्युमर का तर टायगरला खाणारा कोण नाही आणि ह्युमन बिंग मिक्स का कारण ते हर्बी म्हणजे प्लांट्स ॲज वेल ॲज ॲनिमल दोघांना खाऊ शकतात. फ्रॉग इज द सेकंडरी कंझ्युमर. सो फ्रॉग म्हणजे बेडूक तो छोट्या छोट्या किड्यांना खातो की जे हर्बीवर आहेत, मग हा सेकंडरी कंझ्युमर झाला. एलिफंट इज अ प्रायमरी कंझ्युमर. इथे PC लिहूया, प्रायमरी कंझ्युमर. टॅमेरिंड इज प्रोड्युसर, PR लिहूया. देन बियर इज अगेन ओमनिव्होर, मिक्स कंझ्युमर, मिक्स्ड. स्क्विरल इज द प्रायमरी कंझ्युमर, that is herbivores. Then owl is again secondary consumer. Lion is apex consumer. Fox is secondary consumer. Grasshopper is primary consumer, herbivores. Grass is itself is a producer. Which biochemical process makes the producer special in ecosystem? That is photosynthesis. कुठली क्रिया ज्यांना खास बनवते? Photosynthesis. Primary consumers are also called herbivores because they are dependent directly on the plants for their food. So herbivores. Secondary consumers, they are also called carnivores. What is special character of apex consumers? No other animal feed on them. No other animal feed on them. That is their characteristic. Dead bodies of all organisms, they are broken by the microorganisms, decomposers. Interaction go on continuously between producers, consumers and saprophytes. There is a definite sequence of these interaction, and this definite sequence is known as food chain. Then we have food chains and we have food web. They are slightly different. In the food chain there is linear chain between the trophic level. Each organism feeds on only one other organism and is a prey for one other organism. Whereas in case of food web, it's not a linear chain, but it's an intricate web. It's an intricate web in which an organism may be the prey for many other organisms. Then in case of food web there is one-to-many relation, whereas in food chain there is one-to-one relation. Food chain are subsets of food web, and food web contain many food chains, many interlinked food chains. Many interlinked food chains. Food webs are stable in ecosystem. Food chains are generally unstable. Food chain is simple linear chain. Food web is intricate web. Intricate means complex web. What is trophic level? Which trophic level has highest and lowest energy? A trophic level is a step at which organism obtains in the food in the chain. The trophic level is a step at which organism obtain its food in the chain. The highest is omnivores, lowest is the producers. Initial quantity of energy goes on decreasing. Initial quantity of energy goes on decreasing at every level of energy exchange. Similarly, number of organisms also go on decreasing from lowest level to highest level. This pattern of energy exchange in an ecosystem is known as energy pyramid. This is known as energy pyramid. Does energy remain trapped in the bodies of apex consumers? Yes. After the means actually no. After the death of apex consumers, their energy becomes available to decomposers. The fungi and other microorganisms decompose the bodies of dead animals. So after apex consumer, energy is transferred to decomposers. The most important source of energy, in the ecosystem is the sun. Then green plants of ecosystem store some of the solar energy in the form of food, and before reaching to the decomposer, energy is passed on from one trophic level to the next. Decomposer dissipates some amount of energy in the form of heat. However, no part of the energy ever returns to the sun, and that's why this passage of energy is one-way transport. Next question. Give reason why are apex consumer always less than those of the other. Because of the pyramid of energy, energy decreases at every level. Only 10% of the solar energy can be trapped by the producers. Then the 10% of the plant energy is transferred to the herbivores, and then 10% is transferred to carnivores, and out of that 10% to omnivores. Hence, as the trophic level increases, the available energy decreases. The initial quantity of energy goes on decreasing at every level of energy exchange, and that's why number of animal also decrease as we go higher up in the trophic levels. Hence the apex consumer are always less than the other consumer. Draw energy pyramid in aquatic system. This is diagram 7.4 in book, page number 83. You can refer to diagram and write it. What is a biogeochemical cycle? A biogeochemical cycle is the cyclical flow of nutrients within an ecosystem. Cyclical flow of nutrients in an ecosystem is called biogeochemical cycle. Nutrients are transferred from biotic to abiotic and abiotic to biotic. We tell you here, they are transferred from abiotic to biotic and biotic to abiotic factors continuously in an ecosystem. This cycle operates continuously through the medium of biosphere formed by lithosphere, atmosphere and hydrosphere. Formed by lithosphere, atmosphere and hydrosphere. Recycling depends upon the level of energy transfer in an ecosystem. Level of energy transfer in an ecosystem. Difference between gaseous cycle and sedimentary cycle. An accumulation of main gaseous materials is found in Earth atmosphere. Accumulation of main abiotic nutrient found in soil of the earth. Gaseous cycle is fast, sedimentary cycle is slow. Examples of gaseous cycle is carbon dioxide, nitrogen, oxygen, whereas example of the sedimentary cycle is iron, calcium, phosphorus. Give reason: the cycle of gases and sedimentary cycle cannot be completely separated from each other, because for example nitrogen is present in the form of a gas in the atmosphere and in the form of compound like nitrogen oxide in soil and sediment. Similarly, carbon also occurs in the form of coal, granite, diamond, limestone, and in the atmosphere in the form of carbon dioxide. So all these nutrients, they are present in both gaseous and sedimentary state. That's why the two cycles cannot be completely separated from each other. Explain carbon cycle. The biotic carbon is obtained from carbon dioxide in the atmosphere by the process of photosynthesis. Then after the death of the organism, carbon dioxide is returned to the atmosphere in the form of decomposition. During their life, they return carbon dioxide in the form of respiration. Carbon dioxide is also absorbed by the oceans, that is water bodies, and the carbon dioxide is also produced when the combustion of fossil fuel occurs. Whereas biotic carbon dioxide can be stored in the form of fossil fuels. So ह्या सगळ्या प्रोसेस लक्षात ठेवा: कंबशन, डिकॉम्पोजिशन, फोटोसिंथेसिस, रेस्पिरेशन, ॲब्झॉर्प्शन आणि फॉसिलायझेशन. Similarly, oxygen cycle. Oxygen is used up in combustion, which produces carbon dioxide, used up in respiration by animals and plants, which produce carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is absorbed by the plant, and in the process of photosynthesis they release oxygen. Some of the oxygen is also converted into ozone. For the nitrogen cycle, we have the atmospheric nitrogen, which can be fixed biologically by the microorganism. It is converted into ammonia, nitrite and nitrate, absorbed by the plants, and during the biological decomposition of plant and animal, this nitrogen is returned back to the atmosphere. Animal excretion produce the ammonium salts. Then atmospheric fixation also produce NO and NO2 gases. Main chemical processes in carbon cycle, they are photosynthesis, in which carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll produces glucose C6H12O6 plus 6H2O plus 6O2, and other process is respiration, which is exactly opposite of this process. C6H12O6 plus 6O2, oxygen is consumed in this process to produce 6CO2 carbon dioxide, 6H2O water molecule, along with that energy. So photosynthesis, and second one is respiration. Even though carbon content on earth is constant, why there is rise in temperature due to carbon dioxide? Because the fossilization took place in millions of years, and human beings, they are burning the fossil fuel at very fast rate. So production means the fixation of carbon took millions of years, but the production of carbon dioxide is taking place in very small amount of time, and that's why there is rise in carbon dioxide and hence the global